welcome to PodcastDX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis.
I'm Lita. Ron will not be with us today.
And I'm Jean Marie.
Collectively, we're the hosts of PodcastDX. On today's show, we're speaking with Alexis Baker. Alexis is a passionate advocate, content creator, and fashion enthusiast living with Friedreich Ataxia, also known as FA. We've also heard it be called FRDA. She's here to share her personal journey with this rare neuromuscular condition and how she uses her voice and platform to inspire, educate, and support others navigating life with a chronic illness. Hello, Alexis, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Alexis, if we could, let's start at the beginning. Can you share with us what led to your diagnosis?
Yes, so getting diagnosed with FA, you hear a lot of stories. It's kind of a long build up to actually finally get the relief of the diagnosis. So mine kind of started back when I was 14 years old. I had had a partial hysterectomy due to stomach issues that started when I was like 11.
Okay.
So, after I had that surgery, I got home, began the healing process, and that's when I had about 2 falls.
Oh.
And me and my family, we kind of noticed, like, I usually never had falls before, and we kind of downplayed it as maybe I was just healing, maybe I was clumsy from medication. But after I got back into school, that was when I really started to notice stuff was starting to take place. Like I could no longer walk a straight line. I was starting to stumble when I walked a little, and to my family and me, we tried to downplay it as, well, you're just clumsy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We're all kind of clumsy in my family anyway, so we didn't really, after having a big surgery at a young age, we were hoping, for a easy solution.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I got through high school, then I started college, and that was when I started getting really fatigued going to classes, and I noticed, finally, I was like, okay, I'm not like everyone else anymore, something's not right. So my dad, he said, well, let's go to the primary care doctor, just see, what she suggests. So she sent us to an ENT, and he checked for inner ear, of course,
Sure.
hoping that would be, the simplest solution
Mm-hmm.
to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no issues there. And I still remember the ENT, he was a great doctor. He said, you know, take her to see a neurologist, and if they don't find it out, go see another one because something's not right.
Okay.
Yeah, so then finally I got in. It was almost half a year later with the neurologist, and he decided to genetic test me. And that was when it came back as Friedreich's ataxia.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
we know that it's a rare condition, but how rare is it? And did anyone in your family have it prior to you?
So it affects 5,000 Americans, and the number they go by is about 1 in 50,000 people
Okay.
might have it. It is genetically inherited, but no one in my family that we know of, just even going back talking to grandparents, has ever had FA.
Okay.
Okay. And like many rare diseases, the symptoms can mimic other conditions. And like you said, like you went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor
Right.
first because you thought, that
Inner
could be a
ear.
cause.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that play in? I mean, I think it's amazing that ENT was like, oh no, there's something going on.
Right. Was that the only symptom that you had? Was the being off balance at that point?
It was, yeah, it mainly the off balance. I started noticing I couldn't really carry a cup of coffee,
Okay.
over to my side coffee table without losing half of my cup, because
Sure.
coordination plays a big part as well. So the balance was the biggest, but I think it's because it was affecting me so negatively at the time, I guess, trying to
Mhm.
get to class. And,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a busy time in my life. And I was
Sure.
like, what is going on?
Sure.
Sure. And if we could talk about treatment, what have you and your healthcare team decided to do to manage your symptoms?
So, originally, which I'm still in physical therapy, I do it twice a week.
Okay.
And that's mainly to just, hopefully hold on to what I have now. Just basic will practice carrying like a cup,
Sure.
or trying to like move cards from one side to the other. Just keep that coordination and balance as good as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really good part, because a lot of rare diseases still don't have any treatments, is 2 years ago, the first ever treatment for FA, Sky Claries, came out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it has come to slow down the progression and hopefully even improve a few like issues going on caused by FA. So I have been on Sky Claries myself now for, I believe, going on 2 years, two and
Oh,
Okay.
a half
okay.
years.
Okay.
Okay.
And how has that impacted your like? How do you feel that that's impacted the progression?
Well, what I usually go by is a chart with my physical therapist,
Okay.
and every 8 weeks we have to do like a follow up, see where I'm at. Are things improving? Just
Mm-hmm.
that way you can turn it into insurance. But it's also been a scale for us since I saw her right when I was diagnosed till now. She's been able to keep up with what's like how it's affecting the medication and all. And we have noticed no real progression since being on Sky Claries.
That's
Okay.
wonderful.
All right. And
Yep.
just curious a little bit. Had your physical therapist ever heard of this disease, and did they have to do extra research to learn how to work with you?
Yes, so she is not much older than me, which I think that has really helped like our connection.
Sure.
Um, she had heard of, I think, ataxia and maybe once Friedrich's ataxia in PT school. But I was her first patient outside of PT school, and she
Oh,
still gives me a hard time about how nervous I made her.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow. But she hung in there for you. That's great.
she did, and she's still always researching different ways to maybe improve balance or to test my limits on stuff. And yeah, she's really great. So we're always trying new stuff.
That's great. Um, it seems like gene therapy might be the future for many neurodegenerative conditions. How important is medical research in the FA community?
Yeah, the research is really important. I'm a part of a community called FARA, and they focus on the research for FA. And that is really, I believe, how we got pushed into getting Sky Clarity's approved,
Okay.
and different trials, are getting started due to fundraising they offer. So it's really important, especially with that specific group, and they really do amazing things with that.
Well, we've got our fingers crossed that they'll come up with some kind of a solution quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
FA is often misunderstood. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that you've encountered?
A lot is just everyday life. Nobody understands, because it is so kind of rare and you don't see it in people my age. So a lot of times I'm being, seen as possibly being drunk
Oh,
Oh,
or
oh,
"Ha," and
oh,
I've had comments before from people, and it's just really hurtful, I'm like,
yeah,
I can't help what I have. I'm just trying to live like you all. So I
sure.
think one of the biggest things is being, seen as I'm just trying to live the best life I can,
right, right, right.
Help others than me, but I'm seen as possibly being out being drunk at noon. I'm like, that doesn't sit right with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Are your friends and family supportive of you in a way that can maybe educate people so that they don't misconstrue your actions?
Yes. I have thankfully, I know some people at the FA might not have a strong support system,
Mm-hmm.
and that beyond breaks my heart
Mm-hmm.
because I have such a strong support system through family and friends. My sister, she has definitely almost fought a few people for me even over comments, so I always feel protected when
Good,
I'm with
good,
family and
good.
friends.
It's always good to have somebody at your side because you're already going through enough. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be battling them as well. You're battling your disease. That's all you've got to work with.
yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of a heartbreaking story. So you're sharing your information on social media, correct?
Yes.
And is there a group? Is there a social media group for FA?
Well, there's a few different groups that people have created. Um, Farah, like I said, they have a pretty good following right now, and they create different events where people can go. I've went to a few and met others with FA too.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. And I've also tried starting my own social media to kind of just discuss with others what we do in our daily lives, what
Mm-hmm.
could help one another out, be just simple little tricks we have to get us through the day. So, since trying to grow my social media too, I've learned a lot of people with FA all over the world and got to speak with them.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
exciting. Yeah. And how I mean, like, you've been interested in fashion. Has it been something that has been a lifelong pursuit?
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, that's probably for me
Mm-hmm.
one of the most heartbreaking, I guess, getting to FA. I was probably 13, so I just grew this absolute love and obsession for New York City and fashion. And I mean, even to this day, that is still something I would love to be able to pursue one day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as the disease, I got diagnosed and the progression kicked in a little more, and it's on hold for now, of course, to going to New York City
Mm-hmm.
to figure stuff out, but I still try to channel fashion in with my disability social media so that maybe I can even spark a whole new group to feel confident with their disability.
that's
Sure.
wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen some people on their social media pages will try to do like the competition reality fashion projects on their own at home, and they come up with their own version. And because not everyone is going to fit into that, um, fast fashion ability to do things on a certain timeline, but to be able to do it on your own timeline can be helpful too. And then following fashion, if that's what motivates you and inspires you, that's fantastic.
Hmm. What part of the world are you living in, Alexis?
So I'm in Tennessee,
Oh, okay.
East Tennessee, about an hour from Knoxville.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you were in college, were you studying fashion?
So it kind of, they had like, I went into school at SCAD. It's in Savannah. It's a College of Art and Design.
Okay.
And I was majoring in fashion marketing,
Okay.
but COVID hit.
Oh,
Oh.
So Yeah, it was just so expensive online. I transferred to a local college, East Tennessee State University, and they also had a similar, not as advanced, but a fashion marketing program.
Okay.
And that's what I'd got my degree in.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, great, great.
And when you're and obviously managing your disease and dealing with all of that, it takes a lot of strength. How do you balance the physical challenges with your mental and emotional well-being?
It gets really hard some days, Some days I wake up and I'm just like, not again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please. But what I've honestly tried to do was focus on stuff that is easier for me and is not going to stress me out mentally.
Okay.
So I used to, I was against, any kind of accessibility device. I thought, nope, I'm too young. I'm not doing it. But as I learned to accept and start using it, I have more of a sense of comfort getting around my home, and I'm able to put my coffee even on my walker, push it to my chair now, and enjoy my coffee.
Sure.
So I just try to do things that I know is going to make me not overly stress out, which could cause the balance to be off even more.
Right,
Okay. Okay.
right.
So they definitely one plays into the other.
Yeah, that
Okay.
that's due to research. They've said if you're stressed out, it will make that balance like way off. And I've come to know if I'm stressed or if I'm sick, anything playing in your head different,
Mm-hmm.
it really affects that balance worse. I can't explain it, but it's
No,
It
crazy.
makes sense.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, because your mind is in control, and
Yeah.
a little bit of an upset could definitely take away the energy that you were using to focus on the balance.
And what do you find to help you when you are stressed? What are some of your go-to relaxation techniques?
Well, I'm always been a big TV girl.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't help it. So if I'm stressed out, I might just, grab a Coke because I love Coca Cola. I like sit down, put on a comfort show, which usually is Friends for me.
Okay.
And I like just sit there, have a laugh for a minute, get your mind focused on something else.
Okay.
And, after an episode's over or something, I'm like, okay, I really do. Now that summertime's kicked in,
Mm-hmm.
I do also like to go sit on the porch, and that helps me too to just be outside, hear the birds, and not hear anyone around me.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
That
Yeah.
sounds great.
Is balance the largest part of the disability that affects you at this point?
So for me, the balance is rough, but I've recently kind of told people that fatigue, I think, is the worst part of all. Because for balance, I can use my walker and be okay. But the fact that if I walk, even 5 feet, I'm like, okay, I need a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay.
And I'm like, that's rough when we decide to go, long like excursions. I'm like, okay, I have to take quite a few stops.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Like if the fatigue wasn't there, it would be a lot better.
Okay.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
there any tools that you can use that will assist you in overcoming those
Yeah, I mean,
problems?
like, how do you feel about? Do you ever utilize a wheelchair?
Or a walker that has a built-in seat?
Yes, I have a really nice walker. I enjoy my fiance bought us because we went to Boston last year. And we thought, well, that's probably going to be a lot of walking. So he found a chair that flips to a wheelchair. So I use them when I get tired. We'll just you flip the seat to the other side, and you can put these foot pegs down.
Oh wow,
So
Excellent.
it just turns into a wheelchair, and it's been really helpful.
Very
that's
good.
fantastic.
I love that.
Good fiance.
Yes,
Good
yes.
on them.
Yeah, he is.
And what would you say, or what advice do you have for someone who has been recently diagnosed with FA?
Phew, I know they're looking at Google just like I was. They're seeing the long term and how people are affected differently at different ages, and it's a lot to take in. But my advice would probably be just take the time you need. You don't have to get involved into the community yet, but just know there is a lot of people out there to support you. So just, you know, take a breather, figure out what it means to you before you dive in and see how other people live with it. That's the biggest thing. I freaked myself out over Google when I was first diagnosed, so I can't express people enough. Stay off of it.
Sure. Is that why you became such a powerful advocate?
I honestly think it is. I like to take my media. I try not to ever discuss much of the negatives with it because you're gonna have bad days. I mean, but I like to kind of channel what I'm still able to do, and tell people there's no reason to give up, on any of your dreams or hopes just because you have FA. It's not gonna be easy, but it's not the end.
Okay.
So,
And when is the big day? When is your wedding?
so we're shooting, I believe, for next June the 14th.
Oh,
Okay.
a
Okay.
year from now. Okay.
Okay.
Flag Day.
And are you
Yeah, a year from today,
Uh-huh.
actually.
are you going to have a hand in the dress design?
I I've thought about, my mama, she is really good at sewing and a seamstress for years now. And I've thought about and talked to her about maybe, if not even making the dress fully, because she doesn't believe in herself like I do. I've seen what she can do, but she's too nervous. So I was like, well, what if we bought a dress, from a thrift store,
Mm-hmm.
but we just made it our own, so
Yeah.
we're not starting from scratch, but
Right, right.
so that's definitely been a thought of mine.
Okay, that's a wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful idea. Well, Alexis, before we wrap it up, how can our listeners learn more about you and the advocacy work that you're doing?
So right now I am on social media under Styling with Alexis.
Okay,
I've also started my own foundation called Rise Up FA, and that's kind of where I've been posting about my advocating and stuff they can do to get involved too. So,
excellent, excellent. We'll make sure that we post links for that on the website.
well, thank
With each of our guests, we build one page dedicated to you, and we'll put whatever links you'd like on there, and people can learn more about you through our website as well.
that sounds great. Thank you.
Well, Alexis, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and taking the time to speak with us. And it's been great meeting you.
Thank you all for having me. I love any chance I get to, maybe just help somebody else who's
Yes.
listening.
Get,
So thank you all.
Yes,
sure, get
thank
that
you.
story out.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
if you could stay online with us for a couple of minutes while
We're
we
gonna
finish our
transfer.
show notes and make sure that we've gathered all of the audio that we need. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
we really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for having me.
And we hope
I
you
do.
have a beautiful day there. Is it going to be a nice day, or is it?
You got
Yeah.
rain coming?
So I'm actually in Indiana today visiting my
Oh,
sister.
okay.
Yeah, so it said there'd be like 50% chance of rain,
Okay.
so I think we're just trying to see what happens there.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And we'd also like to thank GCI Health for coordinating today's interview. And thank you, our audience. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, you can reach us at podcastdx@yahoo.com, on our website, podcastdx.com, or follow us on social media.
And if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review. It helps more people find us and hear incredible stories like Alexis.
And as always, this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, and always seek the advice of your healthcare provider with any questions you may have about a medical condition or before undertaking a new healthcare regime. And never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard of this podcast.
Till next week, stay curious, stay healthy.